For those of you returning to the channel, hello and thank you for your continued patronage. You'll be well aware of our view on the Christian Horner situation. There's been all too much based off of all too little, an awful lot of heavy-handed coverage that borders on the garish, from painting him as a martyr saint to the devil incarnate. We want to go over some of the recent updates to the situation, as after all, it's been well over a week, or as the F1 world would call it, a lifetime, since we last covered the potential ramifications of Horner's future, depending on whether he stays or departs the team. There have been some pretty major players setting expectations and making their intentions clear, as well as some direct responses surrounding those who were deemed culprits by the media. Want to know the recent updates surrounding Christian Horner? While the effects on him are undeniable, what are the effects on the team and the upcoming season? And stick around, because the clouds have been cleared surrounding some close relations at Red Bull, which the media have casted doubt upon in recent weeks. So starting off with the biggest point here, no, there has not been any further revelations from the Red Bull camp surrounding the conclusion of the investigation into the allegations surrounding Christian Horner's supposed ill behavior towards a colleague. Anyone telling you otherwise either needs to hand over the lottery numbers or should just be disregarded as an attention seeker. While there has now been further noise and suppositions as to what the exact details of the allegations are, as well as others coming to the fold suggesting that more are to follow, there has yet been no formal conclusion to the investigation surrounding Christian Horner. What has come out of the Red Bull camp, however, was their car launch last week, one where Horner was in attendance and one which served as a slight opening of the floodgates when it comes to comments and opinions from those surrounding the team being released. It seems all was to be kept stum in the lead up to the launch day, likely as an attempt to not upset the shareholder and sponsor Applecart more than it already had been. However, since then there has been a steady flow of both information and opinions coming out of the involved parties. First of all was Christian Horner, who doubled down on his denial of the situation and reinforced the fact that he was continuing on with his role as normal. "I deny the allegations," the 50-year-old said. "For me, it's business as normal. I'm confident with that. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be here. I don't want to talk about the process. My focus and commitment is to the people and to the team, and making sure that we're in the best shape possible for the season ahead." Ain't no rest for the wicked after all. Horner would later double down on his commitment to the team that he has led since its inception. "Look, I'm absolutely committed to this team. I've been here since the beginning. I built this team. There's been highs and lows along the way, as you've seen in some of the videos that you saw earlier. We've won 113 races. We've won 7 Drivers' World Championships. We've won 6 Constructors' World Championships in 19 seasons. And that's in the history books now. But it's what lies ahead that's always important." The biggest of the bunch, and perhaps most predictably the one with the least to say, was the FIA, with the governing body releasing this statement. In relation to the independent investigation currently being undertaken at Red Bull, the FIA reiterates that until such a time as the investigation has concluded and the outcome is known, we will be not commenting further. The FIA remains committed to upholding the highest standards of integrity, fairness, and inclusivity within the sport. Liberty Media also followed suit with an equally insubstantial announcement of inaction at this time, saying, "We have noted that Red Bull have instigated an independent investigation into internal allegations at Red Bull Racing. We hope that the matter will be clarified at the earliest opportunity after a fair and thorough process, and we will not comment further at this time." So, all is to be expected then. However, one statement came out that seemed to hold a hell of a lot more subtext, one that could potentially have a massive impact on Red Bull if they were to feel at all let down by the outcome of this situation. New relationships in F1 can be fickle things, but when the partner in question has a sign next to your name at the powertrains facility, well, that can look an awful lot like a tattoo of an X if you don't conduct yourself carefully. Mark Rushbrook, Ford's head of global motorsport, came out with a pretty punchy statement surrounding the future collaborators as they wait for this to be resolved, saying, "As a family company and a company that holds itself to very high standards of behavior and integrity, we do expect the same from our partners. It appears to us, and what we've been told, was that Red Bull Racing is taking the situation very seriously, and of course, they're worried about their brand as well. And that's why they've got an independent investigation, and until we see the truth that comes out of that, it's too early for us to comment on it at all." That line does seem at odds with the subtext of the first, especially when considering Ford sent a letter to Red Bull urging them to be transparent and rapid with their internal investigation. It's clear the pressure is on when it comes to the recent collaborators, especially with the Financial Times reporting that Ford apparently has the ability to walk away from the partnership if it wants to. All of this adds even further weight to the outcome of the investigation, as it could well dictate the future engineering opportunities of the newly birthed engine department of Red Bull, or rather newly mutated Honda program, as well as the future commercial opportunities in the American frontier that will be pivotal given F1's ongoing love affair with the continent. Hey, here's hoping that the American influence ends up with engines bigger than the V6 in the cars at the moment, eh? One collaborator that is reported to be going nowhere by Christian Horner is longtime colleague Adrian Newey, with Horner initially indicating that the long-term nature of Newey's stay isn't at all under threat, for Newey to double down on this indication later on. Adrian has been here a long time, as I have, but there are also many other factors that play a key role, so yeah, not gonna talk about contractual details of employees of the team. When asked if he intended to stay on with Red Bull, Newey said, "Absolutely. When I joined Williams and McLaren, then they were two great teams that had won races and championships way before I even arrived. So there was very little required on the infrastructure side. It was really just hopefully trying to bring a bit on the design side. Whereas, and that's really why I joined Red Bull, it was a bit of a career risk at the time, but I just wanted that sort of involvement again, of being involved with the development of the team right at the start. In that sense, having been involved in the start with Christian and Helmut, how we developed the team, then why would I want to walk away from that?" So it seems the current situation would point towards Newey's ongoing collaboration with Red Bull continuing. However, the emphasis of being here as part of the triptet of Newey, Horner and Marko does perhaps indicate that the stability and longevity of his stay perhaps is dictated by the continuation of his long-term collaborator's tenure within the team. Christian Horner would also disregard rumors of a Verstappen-led coup at the team, with the team principal saying that the relationship with the three-time world champion and zero-time husband of the year contender was as strong as ever, as he went on to say, "No, not at all. I was with Jos and Max at Silverstone a couple of days ago. Max is very focused on his job, he's been very supportive, and I'm looking forward to the season ahead with him. There's always going to be speculation, but we're together as one team. That's the way we've always been, and that's the way we continue to be. The support from the shareholders has been phenomenal, and without that support, we wouldn't be here, so no, that's not correct." You can imagine Max being fairly nonplussed at the allegations surrounding Horner, as until something comes out that directly causes change at the team or in any way threatens his credentials to challenge for the championship this season, then Max will focus on what is directly in front of him and maintain a cold professionalism in regards to racing that he has become so known for in recent years. The conclusion of this investigation will likely come out of nowhere, whether today, tomorrow, or in a month's time. One thing is for sure, the pressure is on to get this resolved as soon as possible, both for the focus of the team, as well as the peace of mind for its collaborators. So, will we see the resolution to this before the start of the season? As we hear more, we'll keep you informed. But for now, you're as up to date as we are.